What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name is Carrie, and today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We're going to be talking about a notebook that uses your fingerprint to unlock it. So I was contacted by a company called FP Life Lockbook to see if I would want to review a demo unit of one of their notebooks because they are about to start a Kickstarter campaign to really kind of, I guess, kickstart their notebooks into, the public. And the only condition that they had for me was that the review had to be up in March. So I did not and am not getting paid for this review, so it will be a completely honest first impression and after a couple week use. Yeah, I'm not getting paid for it. I did get sent it free of charge, but like I said, the only condition on it was that my review had to be public in March. So with that out of the way, this is the notebook here. So it was sent in this giant white outer packaging, which I have opened. Again, this is a demo unit, so I don't know if this is going to be final packaging. Inside that white box was this manila envelope type thing that just shows you the notebook itself and which one you got and whatnot. I chose the red and black version. There are other versions, and I will include a link to their website in the description below. I recommend you check it out because there's a bunch of different kind of like customizations that you can check out. So it came in this manila envelope here. And then it came like this. So it's well protected. It's inside this kind of bubble wrap here. And it has the charging cable, which I will get to in a moment here. So let's open this up. I will say that this video is going to come in two parts. The first part is literally just me opening it up, setting it up, like kind of getting it to recognize my fingerprint. Because that way I can see what it's like to actually set this up. First time use, how easy is it? Is it intuitive? Is it not? It does come with the instructions here to set it up. There is also a video on their website, which again, I have over here as reference. So if I'm looking here, that's why. It is on their website as well as their YouTube channel. So I'm gonna open this up. And then the second part of this video is going to be, like after a week or two of actually using it to see what it's like. I am predominantly a fountain pen user, and this notebook does claim to be fountain pen friendly, so we shall see. There's definitely a lot of tape. Lots of tape. All right, now that we're into it. All right, so first impressions, the notebook feels really nice. There's no obvious flaws that I can see. There is a small logo in the bottom corner here, which is kind of like pressed in. It feels actually really good. I don't know what kind of like leather. It smells like leather. This is made out of, but the stitching is really nice. And I was worried, based on like the kind of photos on their website, that this here, which is the actual fingerprint sensor here, I thought it was going to be very obtrusive. But in the base, excuse me, in the base of the notebook, it's actually flush. So you can see there's really not much going on, and it just says Lockbook right there. On the other side, it's not quite as flush. So this is the part that obviously actually lifts up. There is a bit of a kind of a raised edge here. And this is going to be the front of the notebook. So where the logo is, it's actually on the back, I think. Yeah, the back right-hand corner. So let's try and set this up. Press and hold the sensor until the white light starts flashing, then slide. Well, I haven't set mine up. I don't see a white light. Okay. How to register your fingerprint. That's what I want. Use a pin to press the set button. But they're looking like they get the pin from the inside of the book. open mine because it's locked. So how am I supposed to set that if I can't open the notebook to get the pin? Interesting. And that is a really teeny hole because, you know, that's what she said. Okay, so problem number 1, I don't have a pin. So we're gonna pause on this video while I try and go find something small enough to fit in that hole. Okay, I figured it out. I'm not gonna lie, it took me about 10 minutes to figure out. But I finally have it open. I had to plug it in to get it to open. So it didn't need my fingerprint or anything like that, but I did have to plug it in order to actually get the thing to open up. So you can see why it's like flashing light. It's charging. That is apparently what I needed to do in order to do that. And now I see that nice, beautiful set, you know, fingerprint thing. So yeah, it would have been good to know that I had to plug it in. But you know, that's what I'm here to figure out for you. So now that I'm on the inside, they do give you a pin, which kind of looks like a SIM ejector tool from any, like, you know, iPhone or anything like that. So now I'm going to follow the instructions to set the fingerprint, which it says basically you press the pin here. There's a little kind of reset button. You press that, and then within 5 seconds, you just touch your finger 3 times to the sensor, and that should be good to go. Well, it gave me some haptic feedback, so that was cool. It kind of vibrated a little bit. I'm going to assume it's because that read my fingerprint. I'm going to try the scariest thing right now and close it and see if I can unlock it. Let's give it a go here. Hey, it worked. Cool. All right, so let's dive a little bit deeper into this notebook here. So when you open it up, you'll see a couple different things. You'll see some bands here that you can kind of pop some stuff into. And you've got some like business card holders and things like that. On this side here, this is a note. I'm not sure, like I said, if that's going to come with everybody's or whether it's just mine, because it is a note on it. And it's got 3 ring kind of like design here. Very reminiscent of like a Filofax, where you can kind of customize like a loose leaf notebook, which is really cool. So this says, hey. Now I will say the company is based in China, so grammar is a little different. It says, hey, fellow began as a Kickstarter campaign in 2011. We sought out to create a different type of notebook, one that was uniquely functional and beautiful. After 6 months and countless prototypes, FP Lockbook, the world's first writing notebook with a fingerprint sensor, was born. We've grown into a small company. We're now a Shenzhen, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, based startup in love with product design. Whether you're a handbook lover or ordinary people, you should have fun creating with DIY should have fun crafting with DIY with your notebook. We want fellow to your partner in the pursuit of high quality life. Thank you so much for your support, and we're excited you're along for the journey. FP Life Team. So that's kind of cool. They just kind of wrote a nice note there. And then it kind of has this like divider that's like a plastic. It's a pretty thick plastic, and opens up to dot grid paper that does have their logo in the center here. They have also lined paper, and if you continue flipping through that, they have blank paper. So that's pretty cool. It's a kind of a cream colored. And then if you flip all the way past the paper, you have little Post-it stick-it notes. How cool. That I was not expecting. I really like that. If you flip past the Post-its, you'll see you get a little bit of a clear zipper pocket. Kind of actually has an actual pocket on the outside here as well as the zipped portion. This zipped portion is where my key was, this little doohickey here. So that's pretty cool. If you're familiar at all with the Traveler's Notebook, this is very similar to that. And then on the back, you have another hard plastic insert with kind of basic instructions for you as well. So that's pretty dang cool. And then on the very, very back, you've got a little kind of indentation here that shows you what the cover is made out of. You've got this kind of half pocket where you can slide some loose leaf stuff, and you have a pen loop up here. So that's cool. Yeah, so let me, use this notebook for a little while. For you, it's going to be 0.2 seconds from now. But I'll be back at you with what I think of the paper quality. Okay, so I've officially been using this for 1 week, even though for you it's been 0.5 seconds. And I have a lot of things that I like about this. A couple things I'm not a fan of. But overall, I'm happy with the build quality of this notebook. I was a little concerned that it would scratch really easily, but it really doesn't. I've had this in a backpack. I've carried it around with me all week, and I don't have a single scratch. Even taking my nail, which I have a relatively long thumbnail, it doesn't scratch it. So I'm really, really happy with that. The stitching is fantastic. Yeah, I'm super, super pumped about that. To open the book, if you put your finger on the sensor, you actually get a little bit of haptic feedback. So it vibrates a little bit to let you know that it's successfully read your fingerprint. And then you pull down on this little guy. So you read it and then you pull. See how it pulls down? That works every time. It takes no time at all. Super quick. I really, really like it. And basically all the paper that's in here, never have really any issues with it, kind of flipping around, doing any of that. I've put a few things in here over the week. You can't really put a whole lot in here. Basically, it's just going to be any loose leaf things. Just because, it's flat, right? It's a notebook. So just like any other notebook, you can't really put too much stuff in there. But it's great, if you take it traveling, to put a concert ticket or train tickets or anything like that in there. I've used a few of the Postits that they give you as well. I really like that. It helps keep it organized, especially when you are considering the fact that there's different kinds of paper in here. So there's blank, lined, and dot graph. So for example, I have one kind of just marking where in between the blank and the lined paper ends. So just different things. These little kind of elastic things here have held up really well in the week. I never really used the business card slots. That wasn't something that, applied to me. But I like the fact that they're there because, again, if you're going to be using it for work or things like that, I can definitely see them serving a purpose. I love the build quality. The rings here to open them up have little tabs that you can pull down to open the rings like that. And just so I don't lose any paper, you basically snap them closed again. That works phenomenally. I haven't had any issues with those, because sometimes when you have those cheap binders you can get from Staples or whatever, when it closes over and over and you constantly open and close it, eventually it ends up like this. That hasn't happened so far. Maybe way down the line it's possible, but with a week of heavy use, it hasn't really done that. So that makes me super happy. Because then you can just kind of toss the pages aside, no problem. You don't even have to look. It just goes, which is great. And I really like the fact that you can like kind of customize where you want everything because it is a loose leaf notebook. So if you want more line paper, you can. If you want more blank paper, you can. If you want to move these little, divider things that they give you, you can. You can do whatever you want. So I really like that. It's kind of similar to like a Filofax notebook in that way, that you can really make it your own, which is super cool. I like the fact that this notebook is a little bit bigger. So this is the A5 size notebook. But as you can see, it's still pretty dang big. And the reason for that is because the paper is A5 size, but everything else around it is bigger, of course. I kind of actually like that because it makes it really easy to find in my bag. I usually gravitate towards A5 sizes to any notebook, really. But sometimes they can slide to the bottom of my backpack, and it's like hard to kind of find. All in all, a lot of great things going for this. I'm really impressed with the build quality too. The only thing that kind of drives me a little bit nuts is the closing mechanism. So this piece here, there's a little like opening here for the latch that's waiting on this side. So most notebooks, you just close and you're off. This one, because it's locked, you do have to be a little bit more conscious of how you're shutting the notebook. So this is just the way that the notebook flaps down, not manipulating it at all. You really do have to press down in order for it to close. That's a very picky thing for me. Most people, I don't think it's even going to be a concern. And it's not really a concern that I have, because sometimes I have found where I've had to wiggle it a little bit. So if that hook to the opening, if you can see that go in there, if that's off kilter even just a little bit, when you go to press it shut, it doesn't. So you sometimes will have to wiggle it to get it to lock in place. So, that's just a very minor thing, but it is something that I've come across. But I know you're all saying, Carrie, that's great that you love the notebook. That's great. What's the paper quality like? Well, I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to show you. So I have kind of like a bunch of different test pages here that I've written some things on. And I gotta say, I had high hopes for this notebook when I got it because it said on the website, it mentioned fountain pens. And so I was really excited by that because there are, so far anyway, no customizable notebooks that come with very fountain pen friendly paper. Unfortunately, I do have to say that this is not what I would consider to be fountain pen friendly paper. It does feather, even with like liquid gel pens. Any thing that I put onto it other than the highlighter ink feathered. And definite ghosting. Some spots, especially the Pilot Parallel, did bleed through. Now the dot paper, dot grid seemed to actually be the worst for feathering. The blank and the lined seem to fare a little bit better, but still very much the same thing as far as like bleeding and ghosting. Just not quite as much feathering. For whatever reason, the blank page did the best for being feather resistant, but that is definitely still something that kind of bothers me a little bit. It feels really good when you are writing. So I'm just taking my fountain pen here. It feels very smooth. I do enjoy, like, this is a fine nib and it's a platinum, so it's pretty darn fine. I do enjoy the way that it feels, but I don't enjoy the way that it feathers. I can live with ghosting. Ghosting doesn't really bother me because I use Tomoe River a lot, and that ghosts like nobody's business. Bleed through is kind of killer. With a regular everyday pen, of course, no issues, but not, everyone who watches my channel doesn't use these. So everyone who watches my channel uses these bad boys. So I was a little bit disappointed with that you know, that it's not super fountain pen friendly. With it being a loose leaf notebook, you can kind of change out, so you can make your own inserts, which would be cool. But then essentially you would just be buying the outer shell, which I love. I actually really, really love pretty much everything about the notebook, with the exception of the feathering paper. So I wish that it did come with a little bit, you know, better quality paper for fountain pens specifically. Because if it did, then I think that this notebook would be a grand slam. So yeah, basically I would, oh man, if the paper could handle fountain pens, then this would probably be my new go-to notebook. Because like I said, I love the notebook itself. I love the build quality. It's just, I like the fact that it locks, you know, you can write secret notes. You know, and I think that that's a market that hasn't really been filled. But the paper is just not quite there yet. As far as pricing and things like that go, I can't quote anything on that because like I said, I did not have to pay for this. And I didn't find any pricing information on the website. But I do know that they're, I believe anyways, that they're about to start a Kickstarter campaign. So if you like the look of the notebook, then definitely check out their website. Hopefully they'll have more information about that. Would I recommend getting this notebook? Yeah, I would. I really, like I said, I love everything about it. I like the fact that it is really easy to open and close. As far as like that fingerprint, I've never had an issue with it reading. I like the fact that other than when I charged it the very first time to open it, I've been using it all week, haven't had to charge it. And from what I can tell from their website with their specs, you're not gonna have to charge it very often, which is cool. It's super durable. I like the fact that there's minimal logo presence, because I'm not a huge big fan of giant logos. Yeah, everything about it is great. It's just really that the paper that I'm not super big on, because it's not fountain pen friendly. For everyone that doesn't use fountain pens, but did happen to watch this video, you're gonna love it, absolutely. For those that do use fountain pens, we may have to experiment a little bit more. Drier inks and drier writing pens work a lot better. But you know, I'm gonna maybe potentially look into making my own inserts a little bit down the road, so that I can still use the notebook that I like, but with paper that I like as well. So guys, that's about it for me today. What did you think? Like, what are your first impressions based off of this video of this notebook? Write down in the comment section below. If you like the video and haven't yet done so already, do hit the thumbs up and subscribe by this little dealie here, because there are new videos every Monday and Friday and occasional Q&A on Tuesday. As always, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.